Dziękuję. First of all, I feel very embarrassed because I am not only unable to speak Russian or Ukrainian, but you will understand my English only if you speak French. So for all those who do not speak French, it will be terrible for you, unless you have an interpreter next to you. I'm very happy and I am very honored to be here. And I am surprised to have been invited because I am with very serious people, those who will determine probably the fate of this country, and at the same time they are able to express all their ideas in a funny way. And I have known of these qualities. I'm not a funny guy, and I am just a bureaucrat, so I'm not somebody who will determine the fate of any country. Nevertheless, I will try to tell you a few things that I believe in. First of all, over the last 4 years, your country changed considerably. And I say this because many people continue to talk about Ukraine as if Ukraine was Russia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, or any other autocratic regime. For me, it's not. This country has changed a lot over the last 4 years, without any doubt, and for the better. But obviously, if this country has changed, is first of all because a number of Ukrainians paid a very high price for this change, starting with 10,000 people who have been killed, with 1.5 million of internally displaced people, with more than 1 million people who flew abroad, and the 4.5 million Ukrainians who every day feel the foreign aggression towards their country because they don't know if this night they will have heat, water, electricity, medicines for their children who are sick. So we have to constantly keep in mind that these changes did not come like that for free, but that people died and continue to suffer for these changes to happen. Because clearly these changes are linked to what happened 4 years ago in your country, and I will not speak about that because you were there, I was not. And it is linked as well to the European choice of your country. This European choice, we have the possibility today together to put it into practice. This means that we have to joint efforts to implement our association agreement, and in particular the deep and comprehensive free trade agreement. And we have to do that not because we have to stick to a legal commitment of Ukraine, but because we are convinced on our side that if we want to modernize your country, if we want to ensure that you are all young and your children will live in an open and democratic society based on a social market economy, it is very important that we join efforts to implement this association agreement. To do that, we have to think in terms of some people among you are artists, others will speak about Kama Sutra, others will speak about, I have seen this in the program. The only area where I am competent, I'm really an expert, and if you want to know, I will tell you later on, is football. I was a football player and I became a grey bureaucrat because of bad injuries in my knee. Otherwise, today I will not be a bureaucrat of the European Union. I could be a forward of Shakhtar Donetsk or a defender of Dynamo Kiev. And therefore, I will use a few footballistic analogies. To carry out this reform and to play a European game, you need obviously a forward line. This forward line, this is a government. They have to take initiatives to put on the table draft bills, and then when it has been adopted, to implement it. You have as well midfielders. The midfielders for me are the RADA. They have to back, to support the forward line, the government, and they have to tackle the other team when they try to basically score goals. Kind of things. When some people want to promote the so-called buy Ukrainian, pay Ukrainian legislation, which is a disaster for your country in many respects, the Rada has to stop it. They have to tackle the conservatives who want to keep Ukraine as it has been between 1992 and 2004. And then you have the defenders, those who have to make sure that the most conservatives, the oligarchs and their clients, will not score goals. Who are they? The civil society organization. If you have good defenders, you can be sure that you will not lose. And I am very optimistic about your country. Some people say that I am optimistic because I am naive and I don't understand at all your country. I tend to believe that I am optimistic partly because I am convinced, and I am sure about that, yet that you have the most vibrant civil society on the European continent. And with such a civil society, you cannot get back to an autocratic regime. I know that many people in your country are just waiting the upcoming election to get sure that you get into the situation we have in Ukraine 4 years ago. It cannot happen. Even if they win the election with people like you, with the civil society you have, they cannot score this goal. So for this reason, I remain optimistic. And I believe not only because I am naive and I don't understand Ukraine. It's true that I am naive. It's clear that I don't have the knowledge of Ukraine that you have, but still I have some experience in a number of countries who try to promote a political and economic transition. And I can tell you that you have the best civil society I have ever seen. The youth who have the political consciousness, the most developed in all countries I have seen. And I have seen a lot of countries because I am a bit less young than you are. Second point, if you want to move ahead, you have to ensure, obviously, that you add a good referee. In a football game, if the referee is bad, it's a disaster. If you have a good referee, it is a guarantee that the party will be okay. Who is the referee? The rule of law. If you manage in this country to establish not the perfect rule of law, we have corruption in our countries. All the problem you have in Ukraine, we have them in our country. But here, you have no red line. And if you manage to ensure that there is a decent level of rule of law, you have won the party. If you have a decent referee, if the referee has not been bribed by the other team, with the team you have, the reformers that you have in the government, the reformers that you have in the Verovna Rada, and the exceptional civil society, you cannot be defeated. You cannot. And with such a team, you will, without any difficulties, and I will be short on that, tackle the next short-term priorities, which are rule of law, anti-corruption court, repeal of the obligation for anti-corruption activists to declare their assets, election, need to promote and to adopt a new electoral code before the elections. It would be a disaster to go to the election with the current electoral code, and make sure that you have a real operational central electoral commission. You need that. Then, obviously, you have to complete the reform of the energy sector. First of all, because you have to consolidate the fact that you no longer need Russian gas. It is important politically for you. Second point, you have to definitely close the space for corruption in the gas sector and in the electricity sector, which is a main source of corruption in this country. And third point, if you want to keep Ukraine as a transit country, after 2019, you need to promote the unbundling of Naftogaz and get foreign investors in the TSO, which will be in charge of the transit of gas in your country after 2019. Then you have to make sure that the fantastic reform which were adopted in the last few months, health, pension, and education, will be implemented. It will be a battle to implement this reform. You have as well to make sure that finally the restructuring and the privatization of the state-owned companies start. Up to now, those who wanted to promote this reform have not been able because a number of vested interests have been opposing any movement. Now it has to start. And finally, I will stop there. You have one of the areas where you have an unbelievable, untapped potential, land reform. Because as you know, you have the best agricultural land in Europe. And if you manage to untap, to unleash the potential of agriculture and agro-processing, it would be fantastic for your country. I will end up my long and not funny speech by telling that there are a few other issues on which, in my view, you should pay some attention. First one, in your country, there are unacceptable social inequalities. Alors, I know that some of you will say, this guy is a communist, he speaks about social inequalities. For me, it's not an insult. I just believe that without a minimum of social cohesion, you cannot move ahead towards democracy, at least as I conceive it. If you want to avoid that too many people join the populist forces at the next election, try to reduce the inequalities, try to promote social cohesion. You cannot manage and succeed in the transition process when a vast majority of the population of this country struggle just to survive, and you have in the road, in the street, more Porsche, Ferrari and Lamborghini than in Rome, Paris or Berlin. This is not a country, this is a banana republic. Social cohesion, please take care of this. Second point, if you want to rally the population to reforms which are very often painful, you have to make sure that the average citizen understands the sense of the reform process. And for that, you have to pay more attention to communication. It's true for the government, it's true for the Rada. Please ensure that a large part of the population gets the meaning of the reform process. And last point, because I am asked to conclude, don't do anything which will make impossible to reintegrate the population of the occupied territories of the Lugansk and Donetsk Oblast. Many people say that a number of initiatives recently could complicate this reintegration. It would be a big, big, big mistake for your country. And I am ready to talk about this in the margin of this meeting because I have to stop. So, you have the best football team. Make sure that you get the guest referee. And believe me, you cannot lose because you cannot find anybody which will be stronger than you. Dziękuję.